everybody. Welcome back to Teensy Vintage. This is Teresa. Today, we are going to create a mixed media collage with acrylic inks. I wanted to play with ink because I just got several new vials, containers, bottles of ink. Oh my goodness. As you can see over there, I have several new colors. I was just itching to use them, so here we go. We're starting out with purple. I love purple. For me though, it is hard to make a purple that I like, so I went ahead and bought a purple. And it is just beautiful. You can see here I'm doing a couple techniques. One is I'm putting a little bit of water down in a puddle and then dropping the ink into that. And then I'm also just directly putting the ink on the paper. And when you do those two things, oh, there's two purples. I'm just looking at them. When you do those two things, you get slightly different results. Um, the first one, if you put down some water and then put your ink in the water, the ink is only going to go where the water currently is. And if you put ink on dry paper, it is going to be its own little puddle and it will move obviously, but it is a little harder to direct. Now, for my purposes here, I'm not too worried about directing the ink because I'm using my little blower tool. This is a Tim Holtz blower tool. Usually people use it with acrylic, oh, sorry, alcohol inks, but I'm using it with acrylic inks. You can use this blower for whatever you want. But yeah, I just love the little spidery extensions I get from blowing the ink across the paper. To me, it looks like fireworks. It's very dynamic and beautiful, and I love how it looks. So today's piece, honestly, is really just about play for me. I had an amazing time making this. It was just an hour for me to sit down and just have fun. That's really what art is. Have fun. If you're not enjoying creating art, then I don't know, maybe do a little reflection. How can you make the art more fun? Sure, art is sometimes for work. Absolutely, I get that. But try to find some kind of joy in it. I mean, we humans, we're able to make art. It's pretty amazing. Here I'm using a yellow. Now, the yellow, I really like that it's sitting on top. Now, it's sitting on top because I dried the other ink first. If you want your inks to blend, then leave them wet. So, and now I'm just doing some dots. I'm just trying different things here, just seeing where things go. I did not dry the yellow before putting on the orange, and that's okay. Because if the orange and yellow mix together, you're just going to get more of an orange, a different orange, or a different yellow rather. Um, and I'm just trying some different techniques here, just seeing what it looks like when you just put some little tiny dots of ink down, and it ends up looking like little tiny dots of ink. Here I go. I'm going to put a little water down, put some red ink in there, and then I also applied the red ink above at the top of the page without any water. And it also went kind of all over my workstation, so I'm going to clean up the mess here. But again, it's all good. It wipes up really easily as long as it's still wet. You definitely want to make sure you wear an apron when you're working with inks, as they can go everywhere. Especially if you're literally blowing them across the surface, they will spatter. So, yeah, so we're just moving the bright pink. Actually, this is, I think, hold on a second, I'll tell you what this one's called. This one is an Amsterdam ink. Oh, it's called Permanent Red Violet Light. And I love this color. It's really like a magenta. Um, yeah, we're just gonna keep going in with different colors. This one's turquoise. Um, just dumped off a little bit of the excess ink there, just moving it around with gravity. So there's a variety of ways you can make the ink move across your page. Um, Obviously, if I was trying to make a picture that was of something in particular, I would use a brush. I would be very intentional about where I'm, moving the ink, that kind of thing. But since this is an abstract play, I'm just having fun and seeing where the ink goes. If it goes a little wonky, that's okay. Um, if you recall that purple blob I made at the beginning, I didn't really like that blob. But now you can barely see it. You can see the purple, but you can't see the weird blobbiness of it. I don't know if that's a good way of describing it, but you can see what I mean. The beauty of it is if you're not crazy about it, you can cover it up or you can blend it with other things. So now we're going to go add in a little more yellow. And now that I've got big fields of color down, I'm just kind of zhuzhing everything. Adding a little more yellow here, a little more blue there, that kind of thing. Um, Drawing things so that what I like becomes permanent, and then going in and adding more ink to expand something or add a color that needs to be kind of balanced. um, you can use your rule of threes here, put 3 areas of one color down, see how it looks, put another color down. You can do that in threes as well. Um, for me, it just kind of helps me keep things interesting. Um, Odd numbers help. Even numbers are great if you're going for a very symmetrical look, but I'm not. So we're just going to keep it fun, very light, make sure everything's nice and dry. This is a watercolor paper, so it will stand up to all this wet media that we're putting down. So do use something that is more hardy than good old copy paper or printer paper, because that won't make it past the first layer of ink. In fact, this watercolor paper, let's see, it is cold press and it is 140-pound paper, 300 GSM, and that's pretty easy to get. You can get that at most craft stores. It's a nice sturdy piece of paper, and this one is 12 inches by 12 inches. So now I'm just filling in some of these white corners so that I don't have too much negative space. I just want to have just enough. My background is literally going to be the white paper on this one, and that's okay. Often I will go in and fill in the background with another color, but I really wanted these colors to pop. They're so vibrant and beautiful. And I'm just using that little hand blower tool to, you know, fan out these inks and give them those little fireworks style effects. This is so easy to do, y'all. I am no ink expert. I I literally just got some ink. It looks beautiful. The colors are great. And I am able to just put a couple drops on the page and make something that's really fun and exciting. I love that this page looks like an explosion. It's pretty great. So while we're drawing, I just want to mention I would love it if you would like this video and subscribe to my channel. Did you know that 67% of my viewers are not subscribed? Hey, take a second, hit that subscribe button, and that way you won't miss any of my videos. Thanks. So now I'm going to audition a few vintage photos here. These are just various things I had in my stash, and I thought the birds might work. This is from an old calendar. I love this picture. It's a mama bird feeding the babies, and they are so cute. Um, and so I did a rough cut around the birds here just to kind of get a better idea of if it would work on this background or not. And spoiler alert, nah, it really doesn't. It just, I don't know. It's not the right composition, but this lady is. So I'm going to fussy cut her out of this piece of paper. I made a copy of her. She's from a magazine, and I wanted to use printer paper instead, simply because I might want to use this image in another piece later on. And if I make a copy, then I can do that. So I've got a full color copy here. We're going to fussy cut around all these flowers and we're going to add her to this page. I liked the scale of this image. I feel like it works really well on this 12 by 12 background. And I think the straight, you know, head-on look that she's giving works really well with this very explosive background. And there's my glue stick. So we're just going to do a good old glue stick. I'm going to make sure to see if the image fits where I want, and it does. And I think this glue stick is pretty much almost out of juice, which I'm a little disappointed about, but that's okay. I have a second one in the wings. All right, there we go. I'm going to make sure she's even with the bottom of the page and then very gently use this flat tool to press down my image so that there's no bubbles. All right, I think it looks great. Um, just full on color, and I left a little bit of white surrounding my focal image here to give it a bit of an outline. That way I didn't have to go around it with black marker or pen, and it just saved me a step. Plus, I think the white looks really good. So now I'm going to add some shimmer. This is a brand new product to me. This is Deco Art Extreme Sheen. It's a metallic paint in 24 karat gold. And boy, howdy, it is shiny. It's beautiful. Um, Previously, I had used an Amsterdam paint, which is nice, but this one is really, really shiny. It is kind of transparent. So FYI, if you're looking for a really thick coat, you may have to add extra coats as needed. Um, but yeah, really very nice. And I've got these teeny tiny X's and I'm just sprinkling them on the background and on the model's face. And yeah, we're just going to kind of put them in a, what is that, southwest corner to northeast corner kind of direction. And just randomly add them to the page. And you can see they just give that little bit of sparkle just to kind of fancy it up a little bit, you know? And we're using a small cosmetic wedge to sponge on the color. And I am really putting it on there because I want these little X's to come through the stencil. Yeah, there we go. Now she looks much fancier. I love it. Oh, this picture just gets better and better. And now I'm just going to go in with a tiny bit on the sponge and add it to certain places on the canvas here just to add some shimmer. Again, it's very translucent, lucent rather. And you can see that it will leave a different layer on the ink than it will on the paper. So if I was doing it again, I'd probably avoid the paper and just stick to adding a little shimmer to the ink. But it all works. Yeah, and we're just zhuzhing a little bit there on her forehead. And I'm going to add just a few more little X's on her cheek and lip. Yeah, there we go. And just zhuzhing that very gently. Ah, I love the way that happened. Okay, looking good. I am mopping up the remainder of this gold paint onto an old book page that I will use in some other project further down the road, just so it doesn't go to waste. Because you never know, you might need a little golden text somewhere. All right. Yeah, the paper curled a little bit, but it's pretty easy to curl it back. All right, we're going to add our date stamp and give it a signature, and we're done. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.